Good evening, and you're welcome to Big News at 6 from the studios of Big Family Radio here in Accra. Now, the top stories. Honorable Edumaku Kisi have slammed MMDCs for being politically immature after their endorsement of Dr. Bawumia. Larry Dogbe has urged NPP to face 2024 defeat and develop clear roadmap for 2028. In the international news, State Department have warned Americans abroad of potential protests targeting U.S. citizens and interest. Video shows Tehran shrouded in smoke after massive Israel. In the entertainment news, Ghanaian TikToker has revealed that he hasn't started spending the $5,000 gift from Davido. Let's go for a quick commercial break, and when we are back, I would give you the details of these stories and more.
Oh, so in my car traffic no sense. But they forget it. You better have cemetery. Hey, Charlie, UPO silly a nice power. Shabaris papi, kitchen cabinet, electrical works installation is also a very nice power. Where do you sabro you?
If I butcher, Ghana hire, Hoto AA Construction Works.
Hoto AA Construction.
Just send a mid-danger and nice to engine and assassination of a car. Hoto Darman team if I complete. It is a upper building company. Our Musi diner one who dinner at Chenas as we have a kahua. Hoto AA Construction Works. Omuya dinosaur carpentry work be a father and who be a Hoto AA betty me ayama. Oh, share me kitchen cabinet no papa. A one who dinner AA Construction at Darmanti. Sebani plumbing works be a Hoto AA Construction the Muslim. Share me kitchen name a bathhouse. Plumbing works a wahinaya a Hoto AA Constructions. And a ban electrical installation and design works be a Hoto AA Construction. Yamani City International Standard.
Oh, that's very nice. Shetali papa be a yelly. Paint is very nice and unique. When so a Hoto for and
a banner tile in the painting works there. Ahoto AA Construction a masterclass. Quality POP barristers. And now fabrication of modern aluminium works are. For when it's Ahoto AA Construction Works. Ahoto AA Construction Works so on bathroom doors, wooden doors, BAB, say single, double, and answer 1.5. Amusa so to main gate or modi governance and stainless steel swai. Cheshe Ahoto AA Construction for HRA Kwaiwo. Achamai at 0547 118 843 and I say 0537 883 572.
You are welcome back. My name is Astako Shagbobli. Before we begin the news, you can follow us on our social media platforms at Big Family Radio and also on Instagram at Big Family Radio, YouTube and TikTok at Big Family Radio and Big Family TV. You can as well download our radio app on the Google Play Store on Android and App Store on iOS. Former Member of Parliament for Anya Soltum, Edumaku Kisi, has strongly condemned the actions of the former metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives who recently declared their support for former Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. According to Edumaku Kisi, it was politically immature and ill-timed for the MMDCs to align themselves with Dr. Bawumia at this point, arguing that such endorsements could create unnecessary tension within the New Patriotic Party, NPP, and disrupt the fair playing field needed for a healthy internal contest. He urged party members to allow the democratic process to take its course without undue influence from coordinated endorsements.
Your integrity is at stake, and when there are less than 30 MPs in your house, you don't go saying 60 plus. At any rate, declaration isn't everything. So that was done, and then fast forward, about 10 MMDCs take a stance and make a declaration, and in about 2 hours or so, another, more than the 10 also say that, listen, we went and had discussions with all three of these people. At no point did we make a declaration. So why would the bad apples, quote unquote, go and make this public declaration that all of us, be it as it may, these things are very crucial. And let me share with you the reason why it was politically immature for the MMDCs who even decided to do this, to do that. Because Dr. Brian Champon, in the NEC meeting, was making a strong case that the MMDCs should be added to the next register for the elections. So if you are people being considered to be put in the register, and you make an opening declaration for one candidate, does that not worsen your appeal to be added? It worsens. So this shows how unfortunate, misguided, and not well thought through the whole idea of declaring, because people are making a case to add you to the register, and you are already telling us that when I get into the register, this is what I'm going to do, and you've already increased your resistance to this. And as it stands now, whatever happens, the people aligning with Kennedy and Brian Champon and the other candidates will say that, oh, if you've made this declaration, who in their right sense will then encourage you to be added? You know, when it became very obvious to John Boadu that, you know, the TESCON folks were going to lean a certain way, you know, there was a court case that was put on TESCON for our internal elections, and they didn't vote because somebody felt that that bag was in somebody's pocket.
Moving on, Larry Dogbe, the managing editor of the Herald newspaper, has called on the New Patriotic Party, NPP, to face the hard truth about their defeat in the 2024 general elections and to take urgent steps to craft a clear and practical roadmap for victory in 2028. According to him, the party's current leadership and rank and file are yet to come to terms with the magnitude of the loss they suffered at the polls, which, if left unaddressed, could further weaken their chances in future elections. He emphasized that acknowledging the reasons behind the defeat and taking concrete measures to reorganize and reconnect with the grassroots are critical if the NPP hopes to regain the trust and support of the Ghanaian electorate in the next election cycle.
The extent of defeat of the NPP, or maybe they themselves also haven't appreciated it. Let's cover whatever it is, you know, hide it somewhere, so that we carry on business as usual. That is what that is where we are, and it's not good for them. Open up the process. Let everybody, you know, contest. Those who have the, you know, the capacity to do that, let them go ahead. Let's also appreciate the Akufo-Addo factor that led to the defeat. For now, he said, okay, he's been shielded in a bunker somewhere, and that all his failures or all his successes, nobody is appreciating it. Indeed, he's not even talking.
Yeah.
He's not even talking. I mean, for 16 years or more, he's led the party.
Big family radio.
You remember when the 2016 victory came? This is unprecedented. Over 1 million votes. They have totally, you know, massacred Mahama. He will never come back. So and so and so and so. And then upon your exit, see the numbers you left the party with. We are now debating whether it was 38% or 40% or 42%.
We lost.
No, but the opposite of we.
All loss is a loss. I beg you. Don't take me through that mental, you know, thing. A loss is a loss.
You know. Please. So no, but we have to appreciate the numbers because you guys, you know,
For record's sake.
Yeah, for record's sake. For record's sake, we need to appreciate that.
Men carry me out.
You know, then you have the MMCs. Somebody was asking, so how many MMCs do we have now? So Kennedy Ejimon hosted 284 or 86.
Yeah.
Then Baumia had how many?
220.
220. And then Brian is. You read the news today.
Have you met with them?
We've met, but we haven't made a claim that they've endorsed.
How many did you meet?
I don't have the number. Closed door type of meeting, and unfortunately, some videos are out. But you know, we haven't.
But they haven't endorsed Brian.
We haven't made any statement like that. We were just engaging them, and you know, having a sort of an engagement to share his visions, his struggles.
Right.
So it's become very imperative that we take stock of the numbers of MMCs that you guys have, because suddenly we are dealing with all manner of numbers.
You need a Venn diagram. Because the numbers that supposedly declared for vice president and then Kennedy, when you add, it's more than the 88.
Okay.
That's why I say you need a Venn diagram. There'll be some who fall in both. Yeah.
A subset of the other.
Amusing.
To end the local news, the Anglican Bishop of Accra, Right Reverend Dr. Daniel Silvanus Mensah Toto, has given his full endorsement to the forthcoming National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving, which is scheduled to take place on July 1st. The bishop's endorsement came during a courtesy visit by the planning committee responsible for organizing the event. During the committee, Bishop Silvanus expressed his support for the initiative, emphasizing the importance of uniting the nation in prayer and gratitude, especially in the face of the social and economic challenges confronting the country. He commended the committee for their dedication and urged all Ghanaians, regardless of religious or political affiliation, to actively participate in the observance to seek divine guidance and national renewal.
Yeah, so so I think that is the day of Thanksgiving.
You are listening to Big Family Radio. Big Family Radio.
And then, bring our act together. Unite even more close. Unite in prayer. Unite in faith. Unite in love. So I think it's a worthwhile cause that we encourage all our churches and our faith groups to join. Prayer is the key. Prayer is the answer to every situation. So we want to thank you so much for coming to us. Initially, we thought that the committee didn't have an Anglican, but then I see we have an Anglican. So I'm excited about it. But we want to pray that we all have faith, unity in terms of hope and prayer. And I think that the key for me, the key plus in this whole initiative is that, the spiritual world emanates from the physical world. All the spirits and the demons and wherever they are in town who know that we have gone to hold God's leg, and so they will leave us alone. And then we will begin to experience, because it's true, that's what scripture says, the attitude as this one, and when the attitude is so we begin to do things in prayer here, it speaks volumes. And then in the spiritual world, we will have favor, we will have progress in our status. In fact, it's good to know that even now our CD is beginning to listen to prayer. So we pray that it will listen even more. Amen. So that it stays calm. Amen. And then doesn't move up and down to make people begin to do things with it. So thank you so much for coming. You are in our thoughts and in our prayers, and that we'll join.
Before we move to the international news, you can follow the live coverage on Facebook at Big Family Radio, YouTube and TikTok at Big Family Radio and Big Family TV. You can as well follow or download our radio app on the Google Play Store on Android and App Store on iOS. Moving on to the international news. Gabi Guterres, in his latest report, has revealed that the United States Department of State has issued a warning to American citizens living or traveling abroad, alerting them to the increased possibility of demonstrations and protests targeting U.S. citizens and American interests in various countries. The advisory urges citizens to exercise heightened caution, stay informed about local developments, avoid large gatherings, and follow the guidance of local authorities to ensure their safety amidst the rising potential for unrest.
Department has issued a new security alert urging now increased caution for U.S. citizens abroad. Let me read from this. I'm just now reading it for the first time. There's a potential for demonstrations against U.S. citizens and interests abroad. The Department of State advises U.S. citizens worldwide to exercise increased caution. Also saying the conflict between Israel and Iran has resulted in disruptions to travel and periodic closure of airspace across the Middle East. So this is yet another indication, Eamon, of the Trump administration realizing that there is an increased threat to U.S. citizens, not just in the Middle East, but also here. Officials and a person with knowledge of the matter that President Trump was warned about the possibility that Iran could retaliate by activating what these sources describe as sleeper cells within the United States. So certainly this is something that DHS and the State Department are looking at very closely now. And as one of the other guests have said, I believe it was General McCaffrey, that the next couple of days, the next several days will be very perilous potentially for Americans really across the world as we wait to see if Iran does retaliate. And
away from that story, Representative Adam Smith, who serves as the ranking Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee, appeared on MSNBC's Report with Chris Johnson to discuss the legal implications of President Trump's recent decision to authorize military strikes against Iran. During the interview, Representative Smith expressed his concerns about whether the president's actions were consistent with both U.S. constitutional requirements and international law. He emphasized the importance of congressional oversight in matters of war and peace, arguing that any military engagement must have clear legal justification and proper authorization from Congress to avoid unnecessary escalation and uphold democratic checks and balances.
I learned on it from the news, basically. I learned it when everyone else did. So I don't know exactly what the Secretary means by notification. It doesn't sound to me like they complied with the War Powers Act to notify Congress.
So if they did not comply with the War Powers Act, does Congress have recourse?
You are listening to Big Family Radio. Big Family Radio.
Well, not really. Well, we have recourse to say that was wrong. We can go to a court and we can say, we violated the law. But look, what the president did here is definitely outside of the War Powers Resolution, and I think outside of the Constitution. Now, to be fair, it's not inconsistent with what other presidents have done. As your previous guest outlined, over the course of the last 20 or 30 years now, it's slowly slipped to the point where the president has complete control over the use of the U.S. military, which is not what the Constitution intended. And I think it's a huge problem that the executive has that much authority. But again, I think President Trump was wrong. He went against the Constitution, but it's not really that inconsistent with what previous presidents did. That doesn't make it right.
A recently circulated video captures scenes from Tehran, showing large portions of the city shrouded in thick clouds of smoke following a series of massive airstrikes carried out by Israeli forces on Monday. The footage depicts dense plumes rising above residential and commercial areas, with residents appearing visibly alarmed as emergency services respond to the aftermath of the strikes. According to reports, the attacks targeted multiple strategic sites across the Iranian capital, intensifying regional tensions and raising concerns about further escalation. Eyewitnesses described the sounds of explosions echoing through the city and widespread damage in several neighborhoods.
That there's a huge risk of Iran attacking U.S. military bases that are in GCC countries. When we look at the strikes that the U.S. carried out on the 3 Iranian nuclear facilities, None of those operations took place from any bases in GCC countries. And also at the same time, in recent years, Iran has put a lot of diplomatic energy into improving its relationships with countries in the GCC and vice versa. And if Iran were to retaliate against US bases in the GCC countries, that would really undermine the progress that's been made in relations between Iran and the Gulf Arab monarchies. So I think that it's reasonable to expect Iran to maybe retaliate in other ways that don't jeopardize Tehran's relationships with neighboring countries in the Gulf.
Moving on. A dashcam video has captured the moment a massive explosion occurred beside a roadway in Ashdod, Israel, amid heightened hostilities in the region. The blast happened as Iran unleashed a fresh wave of missile and drone strikes in retaliation for recent Israeli and US attacks, targeting its nuclear facilities. In the footage, a bright flash followed by a powerful shockwave can be seen shaking nearby vehicles, with debris scattered across the road and plumes of smoke rising into the sky. The incident underscores the escalating cycle of attacks and counter-attacks between Iran and its adversaries, raising fears of a broader conflict in the Middle East. Local authorities have urged residents to remain vigilant and follow emergency guidelines as tensions continue to escalate. The Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, has issued a stark warning that the global nuclear non-proliferation framework is at serious risk, praising Davido for supporting genuine silence. Within days, grounded, he intends to continue working at the Washington Bay as part of his personal brand, while pursuing his dream of becoming one of Africa's top music promoters. "I'm still that boy from the Bay," he said, but now the world is listening. To end the news, former Lynx Entertainment signee Maya Blue has sparked an important conversation about the direction of Ghana's music industry, cautioning against the pressure placed on young artists to strictly adhere to the high life genre. Speaking on the YouTube series BTS, Maya Blue emphasized that the world is constantly evolving and musicians should be free to experiment with diverse sounds that align with their individual styles and creative ambitions. "The world has evolved and people are simply creating what audiences love," she explained. According to her, embracing molding genres doesn't mean abandoning tradition, but acknowledging that creativity shouldn't be confined by nostalgia. She noted that while some critics lament that Ghanaian musicians are not preserving high life, everyone is doing what they do best, and we have to respect that. Maya Blue, who was previously signed to Lynx Entertainment, parted ways with the label last year, a decision that she said deeply surprised her. In an interview, she recounted, "It's their label, and they can make whatever decision they feel is right. My exit from Lynx came as a big shock because there was no disagreement or any sign it would happen." But she also went ahead to say that she is fine and that she has no hard feelings about their choice to let her go. "We had an agreement, and if it had to end, I accept that in good faith." To end the news, a recap of the top stories. Honorable Ejumako Kisi has slammed MMDCs for being politically immature after their endorsement of Baumia. Herald editor Larry Dogbe has urged NPP to face 2024 defeat and develop clear roadmap for 2028. In the international news, State departments have warned Americans abroad of potential protests targeting U.S. citizens and interests. A video circulating shows Tehran shrouded in smoke after massive Israeli airstrikes hit the city. And in the entertainment news, Ghanaian TikToker has revealed that he hasn't started spending the $5,000 gift from Davido. News at 6 was brought to you by Trustees Network Group, Ahonta AA Construction Works, Williams Pub, Big Family Multimedia Institute, BFM Store, Dim Hair